I opened my eyes and looked around me. I had no idea where on earth I was, but I knew that wherever I was, it was a dangerous place to be. Help! Help! Let me out of here! Suddenly, I stopped screaming. I thought I had heard a noise. Yes, there it was again. Is there someone there? Can you hear me? A door burst open and 5 girls came into the room. I recognized them immediately. They were the popular girls from school. My heart sank as one by one, they all began to smile evilly at me. Ah! This story is pretty shocking, but what you will find out at the end will blow your mind. I suppose I'd better start at the beginning, so you'll understand the full story. I was in class one Monday morning and I was feeling really nervous. You see, today was different to most Mondays, because this morning, my sister had helped me to get ready for school. She had done my hair up nice and chosen some pretty clothes for me to wear, a kind of mini makeover. The reason she had helped me because it was my birthday. It was her present to me. The boys will be all over you when they see you looking this good. Ew, gross. I was the first student in class. I sat there waiting, wondering if anyone would even notice my changed look. But as the other students came in, one by one, it was quite obvious that they could see the difference in me. Every boy just stared at me in shock. You see, when I say makeover, I mean a makeover, like total transformation. I used to wear these massive square glasses, and my hair was always smelly and wiry. There were even times when I could find some random piece of paper or twig in my hair. And my clothes were always gray, the most simple, plain things I could find to put on. Usually, they were stained too. But my sister helped change all that. So to the boys in class, it was like I was a totally different person. But even though I knew I looked different, I wasn't expecting to receive any compliments. But I was wrong. Hey, Lucy, is that really you? You look amazing.
Wow, you look so different. I love your hair.
I wasn't used to anyone saying anything nice about my appearance, so I immediately started blushing. But my happiness soon turned into fear when I saw the popular girls entering the classroom. There were 5 of them, and they went everywhere together. I call them the Chihuahuas, because their voices sound all high-pitched and annoying. For a minute, I thought they weren't going to notice me, but then one of them caught my eye. Well, 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 what do we have here? Is little old Lucy coming out of her shell? I tried just to ignore them, hoping they would leave me alone, but they just kept on picking on me. You must have spent hours this morning getting ready for school. I bet you think you look pretty, don't you? I was about to answer when one of the boys jumped in to defend me. Hey, stop being mean. Lucy looks great. Leave her alone. I blushed again. I'm serious. Just get off her case, okay? The popular girls scowled at me, but they did as the boys said and went and sat down at the back of the classroom. When I got home from school that day, I told my mom all about what had happened. They were so mean to me, Mom. I was so embarrassed. Just ignore them, darling. It's so obvious they're jealous of you. I guess you're right. If I see them tomorrow, I'll just stay out of their way. That's probably a good idea. They'll soon get used to your new look and leave you alone. But when I woke up the next morning, I wasn't so sure. I think I'll tone down things a bit today. I don't want to draw any more attention to myself. So that day, I just wore some simple jeans and a shirt, no makeup. But I did wear my new glasses, and of course, my hair still looked good. When I arrived at school, I was hoping to blend into the background, hoping that no one would notice me. But it wasn't to be. Just like the day before, all the boys came flocking around me, paying me compliments again. You really do look amazing, Lucy. I glanced at the boy and smiled. Thank you. Look, I've been wanting to ask you something for ages. What? Would you like to go out with me? What, on a date? Yes, I mean, if you want to. My heart skipped a beat. I couldn't believe the good-looking boy wanted to take me out. But before I had a chance to say yes, the chihuahuas appeared out of nowhere. Wow, what do we have here? Isn't it the ugly duckling? Yeah, but she thinks she's turned into a swan. Leave her alone. You girls are only jealous of her. She's 10 times prettier than any of you and 100 times nicer. The chihuahuas looked at me with hatred on their faces. I could see that they were humiliated. You'll rue this day. Mark my words. Fear crept through my body. There was something evil in the way she had said those words that made me convinced she was going to seek some sort of revenge. Don't listen to her. I won't let anything happen to you. I smiled at the boy, but inside, I was still afraid. That afternoon, I was walking home from school thinking about the events of the day when a car suddenly screeched to a stop in front of me. Before I had time to realize what was going on, someone had jumped out and put a sack over my head. Ah! Help! Help! But no one heard my muffled screams. The next thing I knew, I was being bundled into the car and driven off. I don't know if it was from the fear or if they'd actually knocked me on my head, but suddenly everything went black and I passed out. I opened my eyes and looked around me. I had no idea where on earth I was, but I knew that wherever I was, it was a dangerous place to be. Help! Help! Let me out of here! Suddenly, I stopped screaming. I thought I had heard a noise. Yes, there it was again. Is there someone there? Can you hear me? A door burst open and 5 girls came into the room. I recognized them immediately. They were the popular girls from school. My heart sank as one by one, they all began to smile evilly at me. Ah! Let me go! I demand that you untie me and let me go! But instead of undoing the ropes around my wrists, they just stood there laughing at me. What are you going to do with me? They all smiled at me evilly. We're going to make sure you're never seen again. I was absolutely petrified. My hands started shaking and I wanted to cry. Suddenly, the door flew open and, to my surprise, my mom came flying in. But it wasn't just that my mom was there that surprised me. It was the fact that she was wearing a ninja outfit. I watched in shock as my mom began throwing kicks and punches left, right, and center. One by one, she knocked each of the chihuahuas to the floor. They didn't stand a chance against my mom. Once they were all out cold, my mom ran over to me and undid the ropes, setting me free. Oh, Mom, I thought they were going to kill me. Don't worry, darling, I'm here now. They're never going to hurt you again, I promise. My mom was right. After she told the police what they'd done to me, they were all arrested and sent to jail. But that was a long time ago. I'm a lot older now. I'm married and I have a family of my own. In fact, you'll be pleased to know that I ended up marrying the boy that had asked me out on a date at school. Life seemed good. I thought I would never hear from the chihuahuas again. But I was wrong. It was summertime and we were on holidays. I was sitting at the hotel poolside when all of a sudden, I saw the 5 of them at the other side of the pool. My heart turned cold when I realized it was them. They all looked older, but it was definitely them. I turned to my husband. Look, it's the chihuahuas. They're over there. Don't be silly. But when my husband turned to see who I was pointing at, he stopped mid-sentence. Oh my God, you're right. I'm calling the police. I turned to see where my children were, but one of them was missing. That's when I heard her scream. Mommy! I looked over and I saw that the chihuahuas had a hold of my daughter. You stay here with Daniel, I'm going to take care of the chihuahuas. I ran after them and caught hold of my daughter's hand. The chihuahuas surrounded me and started laughing. Oh, little Lucy, what are you going to do? There's no mama to protect you now, is there? You're all crazy. Maybe, but at least we're popular. Now, prepare to die. But this time, I wasn't afraid. I looked at them and smirked. Good luck with that. You see, after our little ordeal, I made sure to take a karate class. I took up a fighting stance. And guess what? I'm a black belt. The chihuahuas faltered. I looked at my little girl. Quick, run back to Daddy. As I watched her run off safely towards my husband, I turned my attention back to the chihuahuas. I remember a long time ago you told me that I would rue the day. Well, now it's your turn to be afraid. We're not scared of you. You might have a black belt, but there are 5 of us and only 1 of you. But despite their bravado, I could smell their fear. You are going to regret ever saying anything nasty to me. Then, before they had a chance to say anything more, I started attacking them. One by one, I destroyed them all. I threw punch after punch and sent them flying through the air with a kick. Eventually, they all lay in a heap on the ground. As they lay there gasping, the wind knocked out of them. I strolled over and whispered very quietly, "You will never come near me or my family ever again. Do you understand?" They just laid there staring at me. I said, "Do you understand?" Yes. I walked back over to where my husband was sitting with our 2 children. "Everything okay, darling?" "Everything is perfect. Don't worry, we won't be hearing from them ever again."
So, are you excited?
My best friend Sam asked as we packed our stuff. It was our final day of college and we were getting ready to leave. Excited about what?
Come on, Ricky. Your parents are loaded and they have a fancy job waiting for you. I, on the other hand, have my brother's couch waiting for me.
Sam was right. My parents owned one of the biggest law firms in the country. In a few weeks, I'd be joining them, putting my law degree to good use. I couldn't wait. I'll talk to them about offering you a position at the firm.
Really? What if they say no?
Dude, don't worry. My parents will never say no to me. However, a few days later, when I spoke to Mom about it, I was in for a rude shock.
Absolutely not. We're not going to give Sam a job just because you asked.
But Mom, I promised him.
Why would you do such a thing? We are not a charity organization, Ricky.
I really pleaded with her, but she didn't budge. So I had to go over to Sam's house and give him the bad news. I'm really sorry. I was so sure they'd take you.
Don't worry about it. Come on, tomorrow is your first day. Let's celebrate.
Sam said cheerfully and put his arm around my shoulder. I'd expected Sam to be mad at me, but he wasn't. What a cool friend I had. Too bad by the end of this video, Sam and I will no longer be friends. Want to know what happened? Keep watching. Hey Mom, which one is my office? I asked, walking into her huge office on the top floor of the building.
Please have a seat, Ricky. I need to talk to you.
I sat down eagerly. She probably wanted to discuss my salary, or maybe she was about to assign me my first client. How exciting, I thought.
Ricky, you are not ready to practice law yet. You're fresh out of college.
I stood up and took a step back. What? But you said I had a job waiting for me here.
You do have a job here. You'll be working in the copy room, making photocopies, and printing documents.
This had to be some kind of joke. The copy room? I worked so hard in college only for you to send me to the copy room? Why? At this point, I was shouting so loud it was starting to attract the attention of other employees.
I can't tell you why. Now get to work.
There's no way I'm working in that dusty old room.
Then you'll starve and live on the streets.
You're kicking me out?
We won't have to if you take the job we are offering.
I walked out of the office and took the elevator to the basement of the building, which was where the copy room was. I hated my life. Months went by and my parents didn't change their mind. I hated going to work and I was starting to hate them too. At home, I avoided them and chose to spend most of my time out with Sam, who still hadn't got a job.
They're being so unfair. I mean, you're their son. How can they let you suffer like this?
Sam and I were playing video games at his brother's house. I don't think I can do it much longer. My paycheck is a joke. I deserve to be paid so much more, and they know it. It's not like they can't afford it. I feel like they don't care about me anymore. I don't even think they'd miss me if I disappeared. Sam looked to be in deep thought.
What if you did?
He said finally. Did what?
Disappear.
You're not making any sense, dude.
Think about it. What if we made you disappear? Do you think your parents would pay to get you back?
You're scaring me.
Hear me out. You disappear for a few days. We make them think you've been kidnapped and ask for money. They pay us and boom, we're rich.
You are crazy. I laughed, but Sam didn't. Wait, you're serious?
Very. So, what do you say?
What do you think I said? What would you say? Would you fake your own kidnapping and make your parents pay millions of dollars? You might not like the choice I made, but remember, I was very angry at Mom and Dad at the time. Planning the drama we were about to stage was easy. Oh, in case you were wondering, I said yes to Sam's devious proposal. We needed a place for my kidnappers to take me and keep me, up until the exchange was made. Sam's brother was out of the country, so we decided his basement would work perfectly.
This room will be great for photos and the ransom video,
Sam said excitedly as we toured the musty room. Just then, the doorbell rang and Sam ran to answer it. I followed him and found him fist-bumping two strangers, a young man and woman, both around our age. They were carrying shopping bags.
Ricky, meet my cousins Dave and Jenny. They'll be helping us with your kidnapping.
I had no idea we were involving other people.
We have to make it look believable. They also brought supplies.
Supplies? I was now realizing that Sam had put much more thought into this than me.
Yeah, we brought masks, zip ties, duct tape, and other things.
Jenny answered. I stared as they emptied their shopping bags on the table.
Sam said you'll be asking for $1 million from your parents?
Yeah.
There's been a change of plans. You need to ask for $2 million.
What? Why?
Well, Jenny and I are part of the deal now. Do the math, Richard.
I didn't like Dave's tone. Also, he looked like he hadn't had a shower in weeks. Sam? I looked to my friend for help.
Dave is right. $1 million is too little to split 4 ways.
Sam could hardly look me in the eye. What was he hiding?
We have him, and all we need is $2 million and we'll let him go.
A masked Dave stood in front of a camera, recording the video to be delivered to my parents' house. I sat directly behind him, tied to a chair, my head hanging low. The whole scene was straight out of a movie. It had been 2 days since my family last saw me. Our plan was going smoothly so far. Sam and Dave had grabbed me outside the firm as I walked to my car. They'd put me in a dark van, then drove off.
You have 4 days to deliver the money to this address.
Dave recited the address to an old isolated church that was no longer in use.
Do not call the police or alert the media if you want to see Ricky again,
he threatened. Early the next day, Dave, disguised as a pizza delivery man, left a pizza box at my parents' front door. Inside the box was a flash drive with a video and photos of me tied up in the basement. 4 days later, we all got in the dark van and went to the church. We parked behind some bushes and waited. What if they don't show up? I asked nervously.
Then we keep holding you,
Dave said sternly. What? I never agreed to that.
Relax, he's just messing with you.
Sam laughed.
Guys, look!
Jenny exclaimed. We all looked out the van to see a car approaching. That's Dad's car. We watched as Dad got out of the car carrying a duffel bag. He looked around for a few seconds, then placed the bag on a bench. When he got back in his car and drove off, Sam ran to the bench and grabbed the bag.
Woohoo! This is incredible! I can't believe they were dumb enough to believe you were in danger.
Clearly, Sam was having a great day. On the other hand, I was overcome with guilt.
Cheer up, Ricky, we're rich! Now go home and put on your best show.
A few minutes later, they dropped me off a few blocks from my parents' house. After rolling in the dirt a few times, I walked up our driveway and rang the doorbell. Mom opened the door and screamed in horror.
Goodness! What did they do to you? Are you hurt?
Mom had been fussing over me for close to an hour. I'm fine, Mom. I just need a shower and some rest. Truth was, guilt was eating me up, and I wanted to get out of the room as fast as I could. Just then, a worried-looking Dad walked in.
Ricky, you're already home?
Yeah, Dad, they dropped me off down the road.
Where were they holding you?
I really don't know. They blindfolded me the whole time. Please don't call the police. The kidnappers said they'll hurt one of us if we talk to the cops. Also, I didn't see any of their faces, so...
Ricky, please calm down. We know you've been through a lot the last few days, but there's something we need you to know.
I sat down and they looked at each other uncomfortably.
Before your grandmother died, she left you a lot of money.
She did? Why didn't you ever tell me?
Well, the money came with some conditions.
What conditions?
First, you had to graduate college, and second, you had to work in the firm's copy room for 1 year. Once you fulfilled those 2 conditions, we were to release the money to you.
I was in shock. So this is why you had me working there? I thought you hated me.
What? No. We always want the best for you, but we had to do as she asked so you could get the $2 million in her will.
$2 million? That's a lot of money. I'll continue to work in the copy room until the end of the year like Grandma wanted.
Ricky, we are afraid the money is gone.
What? Gone where?
When you got kidnapped, we didn't have the money they were asking for. So we spoke to Grandma's attorney and she agreed to release the money Grandma left you.
I didn't like where the conversation was going. Dread filled me, and at Mom's next words, I realized how much I had messed up.
We are so sorry, dear. We had to give them your money. We were afraid they'd hurt you.
Mom said tearfully. No, this isn't good, I exclaimed, startling them.
What isn't good, son?
I stood up and paced around the room. I had just given most of my fortune away.
Ricky, we're sorry you're upset, but your safety is very important to us.
I don't care about that. So many things went through my mind. Should I reveal the truth to see if Sam and his cousins would give back the money? I was almost sure we'd all be arrested. But what other choice did I have? If I stayed quiet, I'd lose $1.5 million. Mom, Dad, I have to tell you something, I finally said. Then I told them everything.
I'm going to kill you, you coward!
Dave shouted when he saw me at the police station. After I came clean to my parents, they had called the police immediately. Sam and his cousins were arrested soon afterwards.
Whose idea was it? Who started all this?
Mrs. Baker, Grandma's attorney, asked. My parents had called and asked her to meet us at the police station. It was Sam's idea, but I went along with it, so please don't punish him alone. He's my best friend.
Well, I have some information that might make you want to reconsider that. Sam knew about the money your grandma left you.
Of all the things I expected to hear, that was not one of them. What? How?
While you were both in college, he worked for me as an intern for several months, but I fired him because I found him looking around in my office once. I never trusted him after that.
Are you sure you knew about Grandma's will?
Yes, it was on my desk when I walked in on him. He was reading it.
But he couldn't have.
Stop defending him. Jenny just told the police how Sam approached her and Dave with a proposal. He promised them $100,000 each if they helped out with the plan.
But Sam said we were dividing the money equally.
He lied to you. He was going to take the biggest share. Also, Jenny and Dave are not his cousins. Sam found them on the street. They're both homeless.
How could I be so foolish? I apologized to my parents numerous times. The cops told my parents that I was in trouble, but not as much as Sam was. My parents also informed me that I'd not be getting Grandma's money anytime soon.